Hi, and welcome to Talking Sense. And I think, Steve, we're far enough from each other where I can remove my mask. I know we shouldn't be having a mask off at all times, but when there's enough physical distance, I like that word because I think we've gotten into this idea of social distance, but it's not about being socially distant. It's about being physically distant. And if we watch ourselves and watch our attitudes around people, I think it'll make a huge difference. Let's reach out and talk to one another. Let's engage even with the restrictions that are there, because that interaction will give you your next idea, will give you your next contact, will give you that social awareness and network that can build your wealth. So on Talking Sense today, actually that's what we want to talk about. We're in this for a while. Look, I believe that we can come out of it. I'm trusting God that there'll be a way out of this. But I also understand that God can bring you through many things. And I have a feeling, I have a sense, watching what's going on in the news, watching what's going on around with people in general, that we have to go through this COVID-19 period. Now, I don't know how long that's going to be. And so we have to begin to adjust mentally and say, this, and I know people had said this earlier on, a couple of months ago, is the new norm. But I think this is when it's beginning to hit home. It's beginning to hit home that in our offices, like we have here, we've had to institute it and become very clear. Anytime you're at the office, you wear a mask. So I had my mask on just earlier on. Keep your distance unless you can't, and if you have to be in close proximity, wear a mask, make sure you're not touching things, sanitize your hands as often as possible. That's the physical side. But it also begins to affect how your investments and your planning for the future goes. We need to begin to find a new normal in that sense. I know some of you may have lost your job. It's a fact. We can't do anything about the past, but what can we do about the present and into the future? If you're going to be starting a new business, this is the time to be picking up a book, joining a class to learn how business works, so that becomes your source of income. If you're not interested in business, this is the time to upskill, rework that CV, that resume that you've been doing. Go out in terms of reaching out to those around you for job opportunities, because they exist. It's not the end of the world, but it is requiring a lot more from us. What are you going to do? So on Talking Sense, we're going to be not ignoring the COVID-19 situation, but rather addressing it from the perspective of what can we do. Here at the office, we actually brought in some medical personnel just to talk to us about what to expect, how to build towards this. And we were encouraged and we were told, hey, look, it may take a while to get through, but we will get through this. So at this time, there are some things you can't control. We can't control what the government is going to do. We can't control what other people are going to do. And so the decisions that are not in our control, we can't spend too much time thinking about them. Understand them, understand the results of that, and then now begin to think, what is in my control? We've been dealing with school owners of various schools, and the announcement that schools will not open in this year, that means you have to change your business model. We don't have a choice. That's what we went through as Centonomy, and we said, look, if we can't open our classes to people, then we have to take our classes to the people. And in doing that, it has opened up things that we never thought before. Right now, we are running classes with close to about 400 people or so across the world. And when I say across the world, I mean that. If you watch the other video that we did, we have people all the way from the US to UK, to Europe, to West Africa, East Africa, South Africa, Asia, and Australia. I'm telling you, I think we're not in South America simply because of a language barrier, and we're going to have to deal with that. You see, the new normal. What are you going to do? Hey guys, we're in this storm, but we're certainly not in the same boat. I think it's time to get into the right boat. Let's talk about this next week. See you then.